That's
I can
amazing.
also talk
That's
about Jack
awesome.
of all trades if you like.
Yes, please.
That's a story really interesting, but primarily to me. So that was going to be a series starring Bruce Campbell, made by the production company that did Xena and Hercules. And I'm just trying to think if I should tell my Xena stories, because I had dinner with Xena, Lucy Lawless, and it was great fun. Maybe another time. So anyway, then we did the contract, and I was hired, and I wrote a pilot. I'm still proud of it. I think it's really, really hilarious. Campbell is playing an 18th century British pirate, and it just a pirate thing was just so exciting. So I wrote it, and everyone loved it. And then one day I get a call. I'm in Hollywood. The production company's in New Zealand. I get a call saying that I'm fired, and I was baffled and unhappy. And then I'm really miserable. It's the first time, actually, the only time I've ever been fired from something.
Hmm.
And a few hours later, two guys who had offices near me asked me to come to their office, and they said, "Listen, David, no one's telling you this, but we feel really bad, so we'll tell you. The reason you're fired is us. We are the guys who've written on Hercules and Xena, and Campbell wanted to do this show with us, but then our schedule got busy and we couldn't do it. And you were hired. And then our schedule got unbusy and we could do it, and we're doing it. And that's why you were fired. So anyway, we hope this makes you feel better." That was Roberto Orci and what's the other guy's name? I can't think of it, but they are some of the biggest. You can look them up in an instant on Google. They're really still about the biggest screenwriters in Hollywood, especially for action adventure. So they came out of that smelling like roses, although the series lasted 1 year and then was canceled.
Right.
And they didn't use any of my original script, which makes sense. They would want to do their own, and they were good writers. But anyway, that was disappointing. One other thing is I wrote a scene for the beginning, essentially to introduce Bruce Campbell's character, where he someone flings open the door to his room, and he's in bed with a girl. And amusing dialogue follows. And then whoever it is leaves the room and closes the door, and the head of a second girl pops up from under the covers. So we indicate that this is a roue and, a very successful, handsome ladies' man. Bruce refused to do it. It turns out Bruce considered himself very moral. He just felt that was dirty and inappropriate, and he wouldn't do it.
Wow.
So, yeah, I guess it's moral killing half the monsters in the world in the Evil Dead movies.
I was going to say.
I mean, killing monsters is more moral, I must admit.
Oh, man. So what was Bruce Campbell like?
I didn't meet him.
Oh, you never got to meet him?
In fact, I didn't even hear about his not being able to do that bit directly, because he was in New Zealand. I was in Hollywood. They flew me to New Zealand to meet with people, to figure out how the production was going to get done. And that was really great. As I say, I met with Lucy. I had dinner with Lucy Lawless, and I met, you have the name here in you sent me a
Rob
list.
Tapert and Sam Raimi.
Yeah, Rob Tappert.
Tappert.
And Sam I never met, and I don't think he had much to do with this particular production. He was busy with other things, as he often is. So Rob Tappert was in charge. And anyway, it was great to be flown to New Zealand, flown first class, mind you. The Writers Guild has its contract, so that was memorable. And then it was just incredible fun. I saw Xena being shot, and I saw another series they had in production at the time, Cleopatra 2525. Completely forgotten now, but a fun, dopey sci-fi thing. And one of the things I really enjoyed was I was on the set, and I was talking to one of the three female leads, and she said, our big problem on this is we're supposed to kill people using a device on our arms. We go like this, but we don't go patooey, patooey. That's going to be put in post, and whatever is on our wrist will be put there. But we don't they don't know what it is. and we don't know what it is. So we don't know if we're supposed to go like boing, like there's a
recoil.
reflex, a what?
Recoil.
Recoil. Thank you. A recoil, or if it's a laser beam, that it wouldn't be we just have no idea. So we're just stick out our arms and hope for the best, which I thought was amusing. Anyway, I also watched Xena being shot, and I had a question, which was very quickly answered. My question was, it's extremely sunny in New Zealand. They're close to the equator, and the ozone hole is close to them. And you don't want to be exposed to the sun very much. And they weren't the sexiest costumes on TV, but both Xena and Gabrielle had on less than I did at that point. And my question was answered, because after each take, and takes aren't very long, a few minutes at the most, people swooped in with blankets and coats to put around them so that they didn't get horribly sunburned.
Huh. Interesting. I thought you were going to ask if you could be the guy who puts the sunscreen on them.
Yeah.
So tell us about you had dinner with Xena?
Did. So it was great. First of all, she's just an incredibly great person. She's, this is really sort of a sexist phrase, but they say she's like one of the guys. But all it just means is she's uninhibited and not uptight. And, she swears like a sailor. She was a stunt woman. She was a stunt woman on Hercules, and she got spotted by some people who said, that woman's got something, we should go forward. And Rob Tapert said to me that he didn't agree. He didn't think she was that special. He ended up marrying her. But anyway, so I had dinner with Rob and Lucy and some other people. And at it, Lucy told me that a few weeks earlier, Bill Clinton was there on a state visit. He was president at the time. And he was there on a state visit. And she said, we went out to dinner. And I noticed as we were sitting down that he unmistakably gave me the eye. He was just checking out her body. And she said, and the punchline is, she said, I'm 6 months pregnant. But that doesn't stop many people.
That's hilarious.
And the other fun story was that I got a call from my wife in the US. I was there for a week, saying that our daughter had lice. And this is, any parent of a young child knows this is one of the scariest words you can hear, because when they have lice, you've got to pick out the lice, and you've got to go through their hair and other things, finding them and getting rid of them. And they have to be killed individually in a very specific way. So it's a tremendously difficult, painful, often for the child thing. And our daughter had very long hair. And I mentioned this, I don't know why, at dinner, and Lucy said, oh, no problem, I'm going to send you my magic lice comb. So I assume this is a device we just hadn't seen on Xena yet. But in any case, it got to America just about the time I did, and it worked. It was the greatest lice comb in history. We were so grateful. So Xena not only killed bad guys, but lice as well.
That's great.